And now I have the pleasure of introducing someone who I've gotten to know for these last couple of years as we've gotten into relationships with the hotels, as Works has gotten into contractual relationships with the hotels in the city, with the city actually. This is Marian Marino. Marian is the hotel clinical operations person who just operates the hotels that we've gotten involved with. We have, what is it? I think 6 Mach J hotels and 2 DHS hotels, the DHS hotels on Sunsetting. But Marian has been the instrumental individual who has been involved with opening hotels, closing hotels, sometimes at the stop of a dime, just doing it from one day to the next day. And today we have a pleasure of her educating us, letting us know what life coaching is about. And I'm really excited to hear about this because it is something I don't know much about. But I think if there's ever someone who needs to have a life coach, I think it would be me first and foremost. So Marian, please step up and let us know what life coaching is about.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Artie. Good morning. You know, you're not alone. A lot of people don't know what life coaching is. I didn't know either just until a few years ago. So today we're going to talk all about that. I'm going to break it all down for you. And hopefully when I'm done, you'll have a better understanding of what coaching is, what the benefits are of working with a coach, what to look for in a coach, and what to expect when you hire one. And we'll also talk about some of the coaching methods, including energy coaching, which is what I do. So apart from being the director of clinical operations, running the DHS and Mach J hotel programs, what most of you don't know is that I am a certified ICF accredited life coach. And I actually have my own business, Marian Marino Coaching, where I work with clients one-on-one. I work primarily with women who are going through major life transitions and need some support to help find their way out, come out to the other side with the life that they want. But before we get started on life coaching and what it's all about, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about my story and how I discovered life coaching and why I'm so passionate about it. So like most people, I've gone through some changes in my life, but I've really gone through some major life events that have completely upended the trajectory of my life. Emotional abuse, bankruptcy, divorce, cancer twice, death of my parents, death of a sibling, empty nest, remarriage, stepchildren, career changes. Listen, I could go on, but you get the picture. It's been a little bit of a rough ride for me, and I was a real mess. Nobody knew it because I was stuffing all the feelings down. On the outside, I looked just perfectly fine. I was functioning, I was professionally successful, but on the inside was a totally different story. Nobody knew the pain I was in. I became a workaholic. I worked late hours. I worked on the weekends. And really because I didn't want to be alone with myself. I didn't want to have moments where I had to deal with what I was dealing with inside. I lived in a state of constant anxiety and motion. Of course, I didn't know any of this at the time. I'm reflecting back and I see how my life has changed so much since. But back then, most days, I felt like life was a treadmill. I was constantly chasing something, but I didn't know what that something was. And then on other days, I felt like I was pushing a boulder up a hill and I'd be crushed if I let up for just 1 minute. I had one thought and one thought only. It is what it is, and this is my life. Then in 2007, I received my first cancer diagnosis, and that was the catalyst. I decided right there in the doctor's office, I was not going to die unhappy. And at that time, I had no idea what happiness looked like, but I was determined to figure it out. And in that moment, my life started to change. I made some tough decisions. I took a hard look at my life. I eliminated toxic relationships. And over time, I felt better, but I still felt like something was missing. So I kept exploring and kept searching until one day, Mel Robbins appeared on my IG feed promoting her book, The 5-Second Rule. I had no idea who Mel Robbins was or why she was even popping up on my feed. So let's just say it's just one of those coincidences. But you know what? I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason. So I explored who Mel Robbins was, and I discovered that she was a life coach. Great. What is a life coach? I had no idea what a life coach was. So I did a little bit more research and discovered what life coaching was and realized this was something maybe I could use. I had been to therapy, and while I loved my therapist and had gotten a lot out of the work that we had done together, there was still something missing, and there was something holding me back, and I couldn't figure it out. So I hired a life coach, and in a few months, I was completely transformed. In fact, I was so transformed and so excited with what I had learned in the process, I knew I wanted to help other people who were feeling stuck and lost in transition just like me. So, while I knew I couldn't stop change from happening, I knew I could help people get through it. And I knew I could help lighten the load just like my life coach did for me. So off I went to coach school, the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching, IPEC, and after over 500 hours of training, I received 2 certifications and went on to acquire an ICF ACC accreditation. And in 2019, I started my own coaching practice and continue to see private clients while I continue working professionally here at HousingWorks. So now that I've told you about my experience and how coaching has changed my life, I'd like to tell you more about the power of coaching. So let me share my screen and hopefully I can find the PowerPoint. Oh my goodness, where is it? Just give me 1 second. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I have so many things open. Should have prepared for that. Okay, so here we go. So I'd like to start first by telling you what a life coach is not and dispel some of the myths. Here we go. So first of all, a life coach is not a therapist. Therapy tends to focus on fixing problems and analyzing the past. Coaches don't dwell on the past or issues. Rather, they focus on moving their clients forward to opportunities and solutions. So therapy focuses on moving the patient from dysfunctional to functional, while coaching moves clients from functional to optimal, sorry. A professional coach understands these differences and knows when to refer a client to a therapist. I've referred clients to therapists, and I've also had therapists refer clients to coaching. What a lot of people don't know is that coaching can happen simultaneously with therapy, of course, with the therapist's blessing. Coaching doesn't take the place of therapy, and like I've said, I've been in therapy and I've also worked with a coach. It's 2 very different experiences and 2 very different outcomes. So a coach is also not a mentor or a consultant. So mentors and consultants give advice based on their own personal and professional experience. A coach never offers advice and only shares personal experience as an example or point of reference. So in a professional coaching relationship, the client always sets the agenda and the coach follows their lead. As someone once said, a mentor has some great answers for your questions and a coach has some great questions for your answers. So a life coach is also not your best friend. So oftentimes people will say, well, I have my friends and family I talk to. Oh, that's fantastic that you have a great support system. But a life coach is different. Our best friends and family, they offer their opinions and they let us know what they think we should do, right? And that's why we love them. They're well-intended, but let's face it, They have their own agenda. They hate to see us in pain. And when they do, see us in pain, they try and protect us any way they can. When we hurt, they hurt, and they get right down there with us. We all need this, sometimes in our lives, but not all the time. So a professional life coach is, of course, empathetic, but they also know when to push you to those uncomfortable places, and then they stay there with you until you move through. They give you tools to support you through the process and teach you strategies for you to use in life. So, what then is a life coach? So a life coach meets you where you are today and gets you to where you want to be by helping you create an action plan and then holding you accountable for it. A life coach helps you explore options, discover opportunities, and create an inspired plan of action uniquely designed to meet your goals, whatever they may be. A life coach provides a safe environment that's confidential, judgment-free, where you get to talk about you, your wants, your desires, your dreams, your fears, your doubts, even if you can't express them. So, how do they do this? Well, we all enter the world with an opinion, without an opinion about anything or belief about anything. Through our entire lives, influences of the world help form the core beliefs, values, and filters through which we experience the world around us. As you are presented with situations, you pass them through these filters and your belief system. When they're in alignment, you judge them to be positive and good. And when they go against your view, you may judge them to be negative and bad. So, for example, in my family, the focus has always been on service and helping others. So whenever I would see someone put themselves ahead of others, that was my interpretation of their actions, of course, I would judge them to be selfish. So think about, what are some of the influencers that shaped your belief system? But as our beliefs and our values become established, we function on autopilot until we begin to experience dissonance and we start to question them. And since many of our beliefs and values are given to us by others, we have the opportunity to evaluate the degree to which they support us or hold us back. And as a result, we can choose to make adjustments that align with our beliefs and our true selves. So how do your beliefs translate into how you show up in different situations? Well, it's all about the formula of thoughts, feelings, informing our actions. So our thoughts and judgments around situations is related to our belief system, our values, and every influencer in our lives. These thoughts are related to the feelings we experience, and as a result, the way we react and the way we respond. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions can either set you up for success or they can hold you back. So for example, if you believe you are powerful and creative and capable, you may feel confident and peaceful. And as a result, you're more likely to take on the challenges to stretch yourself. If you believe you're average, limited, or vulnerable, you might feel worry or fear. And as a result, you may stay in your comfort zone and resist change. In order to sustain success, the first step is to recognize the thoughts and feelings that get in our way and then explore the impact of them. The awareness of unsupported thoughts can lead to our questioning the perspectives creating them. So I said earlier I would talk to you about energy coaching method that I'm uniquely trained to do. So I'd like to spend the next few minutes explaining the foundation principles of the method and the proprietary Energy Leadership Index assessment. It's a tool that I'm certified to administer in my coaching practice. So first, I want to talk to you about energy leadership and what that is. So it refers both to a particular and a unique form of leadership, and also to the process of leading energy so that it works for you rather than against you. By learning and applying the principles and concepts of energy leadership, you can increase your ability to shift your own energy and the energy of those around you. And when you do that, you will inspire and motivate yourself and others. You'll feel a greater sense of purpose. You'll get more done with much less effort and stress. Who doesn't want that? And constantly attract positive and powerful people and success to you. So there are two types of energy in energy leadership. There's anabolic and catabolic. So anabolic energy is energy that's constructive and expanding. It's fueling, it's healing, it's growth oriented. Anabolic energy helps you move forward and achieve positive, long-term, successful results and is useful in leading others in the same direction. Using anabolic energy allows you to come up with solutions and innovations more easily. It's creative. Catabolic energy, on the other hand, is draining and resisting. It's contracting energy. And while catabolic energy provides you with an energetic boost to combat what you perceive to be a stressful situation, thus reducing it, it does, however, distract you. It acts like a blinder. It limits your solutions and the choices that are available to you. While there may be some short-term benefits to catabolic energy, when used on the long term, it imparts mental, emotional, and physical tolls that are potentially destructive to you, to your colleagues, and to all those around you. So here's some examples of catabolic energy. It also happens to be the first 3 levels of energy that we'll see in a minute. So if you're like most people, you've experienced times when you feel defeated and unmotivated. You feel isolated, totally focused on a problem. It can make you feel like a helpless child. This is level 1 energy, very catabolic. Maybe you feel angry, like you're a ticking time bomb. You're ready to explode if just one more person asks you one more question. Everything's going wrong and you're ready to blame everyone and everything. Level 2 energy, also catabolic. Or maybe you're just coping. Like our little otter here, you're keeping your head above the water while paddling furiously below the surface. Someday, somehow, you're going to make it to shore, but for right now, it is what it is. So remember my story? Well, I was the otter. For years and years, I was stuffing all of my feelings down, pretending everything was fine. This is why this level of energy is both anabolic and catabolic, because on the outside, you're getting through what you need to get through, but it's really causing a lot of pain on the inside that you're not acknowledging. So listen, we all have moments like this when we're feeling down or we're angry or like we're treading water. But sometimes those days can turn into weeks or months or longer. So living day to day with these feelings and thoughts have an adverse effect on you and the people around you. And some of those effects are increased stress and anxiety, which of course can lead to high blood pressure, sleepless nights, which contribute to low energy. It becomes a vicious cycle, and it becomes your way of life. It works until something happens and it doesn't work anymore. For me, it was a cancer diagnosis. For others, it's a failed relationship, or they get a write-up at work, or they lose their job, or worse. Is it any wonder why so many people turn to artificial ways to feel better? So what about you? Have you ever felt like a ticking time bomb? Have you ever felt like a helpless child? What about that otter? What are you coping with? What are you tolerating in your life? Well, you're not alone, because as I said, everyone experiences these types of thoughts and feelings from time to time. But there's a lot of people who live in one or all of these states all the time. And if it's not you, I'm sure you know a few people who do. So a life coach helps you sort through all of this. They ask you curious questions that are reflective, the kinds of questions that make you dig deep to find the answer. They use various tools to facilitate the process. And one of the most powerful tools is the Energy Leadership Index assessment. So it's based on the energetic self-perception chart seen here, where there's 7 levels of energy, as I had said before, with apathy, anger, we've got our helpless child, our ticking time bomb. Forgiveness is level 3, that's our little otter, our coper. Compassion, peace, joy, and absolute passion. With the first 2 levels being catabolic and levels 3 to 7 being anabolic. So here's a closer look to levels 1 and 2, apathy and anger. You can see you've got your core thought, your feeling that informs your action, a little formula for belief system. If you're a victim, you're feeling apathetic, and your core action is lethargy, unmotivated. You're feeling conflict, your thought is conflict, your feeling is anger. What's your action? You're fighting, you're defiant. So the Energy Leadership Index assessment tool that I use helps to sort through all of these levels. It's a proprietary research-backed tool. It provides insights into how you show up in various aspects of your life. It measures your potential leadership ability by the level of awareness about who you are and what life is about. It brings newfound awareness and insights which actually allow you to reshape your attitudes and your worldview and literally transform who you are and start living the life you imagined. So not surprisingly, there are typically a lot of aha moments here from my clients as they start to connect the dots between how their thoughts and feelings shape their actions. And along with this newfound awareness, they discover they have the power to choose differently. This is why I love the work that I do. So after about 70 questions in the assessment, it takes about 20 minutes to a half hour to get through, 2 graphs are generated. The energetic profile, which is at the top, gives you an indication of how you approach life when things are going the way they normally do for you, your day-to-day. And the lower graph, the energetic stress reaction, is the most typical way you think, perceive, and feel when you experience stress. So this is actually a client's results. And you can see on the day-to-day, this client has very little level 1 and level 2. The helpless child, the victim, and the fighter. But on the day-to-day, she's a real coper. She's tolerating a lot at level 3 with 22.2% of her energy there. And she's certainly can tap in the higher anabolic stages of energy, but that's her leading thought for the day. Under stress, she goes right into the victim mode at 22.5%. And then guess what? Level 2 is the coper. So it immediately goes into, yeah, it is what it is mentality. So you can imagine this power of this tool as I work with my clients and we go through each level of energy and then we talk about the types of situations where they feel these thoughts and feelings and what's their typical reaction. It's a very powerful tool and leads to very powerful results. So, what to look for in a life coach? So first, they should be certified. They've attended an accredited coaching program. There's a lot of schools out there, they're not all accredited. They should be a member of the International Coaching Federation, the ICF. So there's a lot of coaches out there, as we talked about before. You don't need a certification or a license to be a life coach. So it's easy for someone to call themselves a coach. Fortunately, the ICF is a credentialing board for coaches, and it's founded in 1995 and has tremendous power and tools, lots of education. Even if you're looking to learn more about coaching, it's a great website for you to go to. And then the third thing, it's not required, but it's preferable, they hold an ICF credential. So in the next slide, I give you a lot of information about the ICF. There's 3 different levels of credentialing that they offer with various degrees of coaching hours associated. You need to be re-credentialed every 3 years, so there's continuous learning that needs to go on. And the website's also a great place for you to find an accredited coach who specializes in the area you're needing support. So what to expect, and I'm going to give myself a thumbs up. Thank you very much. So what to expect when you're working with a life coach. So the first thing, expect a discovery call, about 20 to 30 minutes. It's really a get to know you type of a call. A coach may offer you a complimentary session where you get to experience coaching with that person, so you get a feel for that coaching style and see if they're a good fit for you too. Followed by a contract or a coaching agreement. This is a 2 to 3 page document. It should outline the number of sessions, the costs, some basic information, whatever else is included in the package. The package usually includes one-on-one or group coaching or a combination of both. It's weekly sessions, 45 to 60 minutes in length, lasting about 3 months. And you should get some email and text support between sessions. And I'm sorry, but you should also expect some homework in between sessions. These are just tools that the coach would use to help you develop and do some inner work in between sessions. So how do you know when you're ready to work with a life coach? Well, when you're feeling stuck, like my little Winnie the Pooh here, you can't move forward because something's holding you back. When you feel very motivated and committed to change, you've had it with the way that you're feeling and you're really going to do everything in your power to make a change, including going outside your dreaded comfort zone. This is really scary for a lot of people, and a coach will work with you to figure out what's so scary, because you know what? When you do go outside your comfort zone, that's where all the magic happens. So what are some benefits of working with a coach in real time? Well, improve relationships, both personal and professional. Change in your perspective, for sure. Boundary setting, you'll know what's supporting you and what's not, and how to get rid of that stuff. Setting and achieving goals. Get more fun and enjoyment out of life. That comes without question. And balance. So that's my time for today. I really hope that this was helpful and you have a better understanding of what life coaching is all about. This is my website, and you can reach me through the website or through my professional email. You know what? There's really nothing that you can't achieve and accomplish when you work with a coach. There's no limits when you live with intention, lead with integrity, and learn with inspiration.
How you doing, baby? All right.
Thank you so much for your time today. It's been such a pleasure. And Dr. Artie, thank you so much for inviting me.
Marian, I want to thank you on behalf of Housing Works and on behalf of all of us. I want to thank you for sharing all that you shared with us this morning. It was truly, truly impactful. I think I'm not sure which was more riveting, your personal testimony in terms of your life and everything else that you presented to us today. I will end it by using the words, unfortunately, we don't have time for questions, but you can take a look at all the love that's in the chat and all the expressions of appreciation. And I'll end it, I guess I'll use the words of Jennifer Lester, who basically says, thank you for the inspiration. Your personal experience is a powerful one. And I'll use that out of all the comments that are there in the chat. You have great fans, Dr. Kasmali, Hope, Dr. Roy, everyone, Abraham, Tina Chin, calling you friends. So thank you so much for this. And I will agree, your personal testimony is clearly an inspiration to all of us. Just when you thought you knew someone, I didn't know about this, and I thought I knew you a bit. So
Hey, we all have our stories.
indeed, we
And
do.
you know what? They're all really to be shared so we can learn from each other.
All right. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for your transparency, your honesty, and just for sharing your life with us. All right. Take
Thank you,
care,
everybody.
everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.